Hello, hi everyone. Welcome. Hi everyone. Welcome to a new live stream. How's it going? I hope you're doing pretty good. Today we are going to talk about the Spanish verb pensar. Pensar is an irregular verb, and one of you suggested in the last stream to talk about irregular verbs and talk about their conjugation and all of that. So I think it's a good idea to talk about one verb, one irregular verb, and obviously we will talk about more in the future. But for now, we will learn one verb. We'll focus on one verb and its conjugation, its meaning, and how it works. And it's going to be pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting, I would say. Hello, Sea of Platitudes and Rolf Marquez. Welcome. Muchas gracias por sus comentarios. Thank you so much for your comments. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members: Brianna Lee, Ruby Brockenberry, Christopher Michael, William Lopez, David Beaver, and KS. Thank you guys for the support. El cafecito está delicioso. Muchas gracias. You can also get a membership on this channel, the Cafecito membership, if you want to support this channel more than, liking the video and, watching my streams. You can get a Cafecito membership as well. If you want to know the perks and the cost of it, it's very cheap. It's pretty much like less than $3 a month. So it helps a lot. It helps this channel a lot. And also, you get some perks as well. If you want to know more about that, please click on the join button down below. Thank you again, Cafecito members. Okay, so, oops, not me. I wanted to do this. I'm still here. So that's good. Okay, so let's talk about the verb pensar. Pensar, as I said a few seconds ago, it's an irregular verb and it means to think. Okay, it can also be used in different situations. So that's something really important to talk about, because when we translate Spanish words from Spanish into English, we might get just some meaning, just one. For example, if you put on Google Translate pensar, what does it mean? It will tell you to think. Okay, but there's more to it. There's more uses, more meanings. So we're gonna talk about that today. Hello. Oh, wow. Hello, KS first. Welcome. Mi noche va muy bien. Muchas gracias. Ralph Marquez, thank you so much for getting a Cafecito membership. Thank you so much. That makes me really happy. Thank you. Okay. So the main meaning of the verb pensar is to think, okay? So that's very easy. And I said it's an irregular verb because its conjugation is a bit peculiar, but just some conjugation, not all of it. And we will talk about that in a few minutes. So this, by the way, this lesson is going to be a little long, so get comfortable. Get some coffee, get very comfortable, or tea, whatever you would like to drink. And it's going to be a not longish lesson, because we're going to talk about the meanings and conjugation. The conjugation is big. So it's the whole conjugation, not only certain moods, but also, but we will just talk about all the moods, all the tenses and all of that. So it's going to be, I'm just letting you know, it's going to be a longish lesson. Okay, let's talk about the meanings. The first meaning of, pensar is to think, as I said before. So it's very simple, very straightforward. You could say something like, siempre pienso en ti. Siempre pienso en ti. Okay? Siempre pienso en ti. Siempre pienso en ti. This is a very common phrase that people who are dating use, or people who are married or want to be romantic. They say this. This phrase means I always think of you. Okay? So, pienso, as you can see, it means to think. Think. Siempre means always, by the way. Always. Siempre. And remember that we don't use personal pronouns all the time. Yo, tú, él, nosotros, ustedes, ellos, I, you, he, she. Those pronouns, we don't use them all the time because, once again, I always say this. The conjugation of verbs in Spanish is very unique. So you know the pronoun without having it. Yo pienso, tú piensas, él piensa. So that's why we don't need it here. But essentially we're saying yo siempre pienso en ti. I always think of you. Okay? So en ti in this situation means of you. Okay? En ti. Of you. So this is quite interesting. That's the first meaning, guys. Pensar means to think. Okay? Just to think in general. You can think of, a person. You can think about things as well, about anything else that you can think of, essentially. Okay, so the next meaning, remember guys, that I'm live streaming, so you can use the live chat for any questions you may have. So please just subscribe to this channel because only subscribers can use the live chat. Hello, Mr. Steven. Ciao. Ciao. Hola. Bienvenido. Okay, now the next meaning, guys, is, pensar is similar to believe. When you're believing, thinking about something, I believe I want to do this. I think I want to do this. Okay, so you're believing. You might do it or not, but you're, thinking about it. So, for example, I can say, pienso que debería ahorrar dinero. Pienso que debería ahorrar dinero. This means I think, or believe I should save some money. Okay? Once again, we're saying yo pienso. Pienso. We don't need yo all the time. So just remember that. Pienso means in this situation, I think / believe. Pienso que, usually, when you want to use pensar to say something like I believe, I think, usually you will use the phrase pienso que. Pienso que. This phrase right here. Pienso que. Okay? Pienso que debería ahorrar dinero. I think / believe I should, debería, ahorrar, save, dinero, money. Okay? Debería, I should. Ahorrar means, that's another interesting verb, and it means to save. Okay? Saving, you could be saving money, saving water, if you don't want to waste water, you want to ahorrar. You want that verb. Ahorrar agua. Ahorrar dinero. So ahorrar is a great verb and it means to save. Dinero. El dinero means money. Okay? Money. So remember, pensar is similar to the verb to believe, but in a way that you're thinking about doing something. I believe I should save money. Pienso que debería ahorrar dinero. That's a good idea. Save money. To save money is essential. Okay. The next meaning of pensar is to plan. It's similar to plan. When you want to plan something out, it could be a trip, it could be, I don't know, your vacation, it could be an event, it could be something that you usually need to, plan out. So, for example, I could say, estaba pensando viajar este verano. Estaba pensando viajar este verano. This means I was planning to travel this summer. Okay, I was planning on traveling this summer. I was planning to travel this summer. Essentially, you're thinking about, again, you're thinking about doing something. You're planning. So you're thinking about doing that, right? So pensar is very similar to plan. Mr. Steven says, say ahorrar again. Ahorrar. Remember, the letter H in Spanish is mute. You don't pronounce it. Ahorrar. Ahorrar. R. Remember the R sound. Very important. Okay. So, if I say that, estaba pensando viajar este verano. This means I was planning on traveling this summer to travel this summer. Okay, so once again, we're thinking about doing something. Okay, kind of planning. You want to plan something. You want to do something in the future. So that's something that you can do, and you can use the verb pensar in Spanish if you want to say something similar to that. Estaba pensando. Obviously, I was planning, but you can also say estoy pensando. I am planning. Estoy pensando. Obviously, you can also use the verb planear, which means to plan. Planear. Let me just have it here really quickly. Right here. Planear. Planear means to plan, okay? So you can use either one, but a lot of people in Spanish say, estoy pensando. I'm thinking, I'm planning on doing something, okay? Planear is like literally the translation is to plan, but pensar can also be used in those situations when you're thinking, planning, and so on. Okay, the next meaning, guys. Let's talk about the next meaning. Let me just remove this. That. And the other meaning is pensar is like saying to think about. And I said that before, but it can be used in a reflexive way. So if you don't know how reflexive verbs work in Spanish, I suggest you watch my previous lessons about that. Feel free to browse my channel. I talk about reflexive verbs and pronouns as well. So that's something important that you need to know to understand this. So essentially, you're using pensar like in a reflexive way. That means that you are doing that yourself. For example, washing your hands. No one else washes your hands. You do it yourself. So in Spanish, we have that reflexive way, which means me lavo. So I'm washing myself. Okay. I know it's weird, but very common in Spanish. Okay. So that's why I could say me pienso. Me pienso. Let me just underline this. Me pienso. You can also say pienso, just pienso. But a lot of people, if you hear this from a Spanish speaker, don't freak out because it can be used in a reflexive way. Pensar can be used in a reflexive way. Me pienso. This is like saying I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about. Me pienso comprar. Comprar is another interesting Spanish verb that means to buy, okay? In this situation, it means buying, okay? Un piano, a piano, okay? Piano, same spelling, so that's something good. Okay? So, me pienso, you could say, me pienso comprar un piano. I'm thinking about buying a piano. Once again, you can also say, pienso comprar un piano without the me, okay? Because this is a reflexive pronoun. That's fine as well. But there's that option as well. Me pienso. It's like saying, I'm thinking myself. You know, I'm just having this idea myself, not nobody else. I'm having the idea, okay? So, me pienso, I'm thinking about comprar un piano, buying a piano. So, I needed to let you know that because this is coming in Spanish. And if you're thinking about why is this person saying me, why? It's because pensar can be also used in a reflexive way, and it's similar to saying to think about. Excellent. Welcome, Umei. It's all good. Que says, siempre pienso en ahorrar dinero, pero la inflación lo hace casi imposible. Great example, and I totally agree. Thank you for sharing, KS. Okay, so let's look at more meanings. We have, I think, 4 more meanings. Okay, so, and after that, we're going to conjugate the verb. Very easy. I'm gonna try to do it quick so we don't spend a lot of time here. But please feel free to ask anything, any question you may have. Okay, so the other meaning of pensar is, well, this verb is similar to mean, you know, but like it's a peculiar situation here. When you want to do something, but you kind of forgot about it, okay? Or it could be for certain situation, something happened and, you know, you couldn't do it or something like that. For example, pensé, that's past tense, hablarte, pero se me olvidó. Pensé hablarte, pero se me olvidó. And this means I meant to call you, but I forgot. Okay? So, yes, this is a perfect situation to explain, you know, when pensar is similar to mean. You wanted to do something, but something came up and you couldn't do it. Okay? Pensé hablarte. And it's usually used in past tense. Pensé hablarte. You can also say pienso hablarte, but the situation has to change a little bit. Pienso hablarte al rato. Okay, so it could also be present tense, but it's often used in past tense, period tense, and sometimes, you know, present tense as well. It depends on the situation. We can just change the sentence a little bit so you can, you know, understand, you know, the present and present situation. Okay, pensé hablarte. I meant, or I thought about calling you. I meant to call you, pero, but, se me olvidó. I forgot. Se me olvidó. That means I forgot. So in this situation, pensé means I meant. I meant to hablarte, call. Hablar can mean call someone, to call someone, or to just speak, talk. So it's very interesting. Llamar also means, well, that one is only if you want to say to call, llamar. Or when someone is, like if you are in a classroom and the teacher is saying your name and you have to say here, la profesora está llamándote, or llamando tu nombre. So that means just saying your name, but that's in a very specific situation. But usually llamar means, call someone. Using the phone to call someone specifically. Okay, so hablarte, call you. Hablarte means call you, okay, in this situation. But se me olvidó. Se me olvidó. I forgot. Okay, so you forgot. So that's one important meaning of pensar. Similar to mean. Now, I could change it to present tense. I could say pienso. Yo pienso hablarte. And if you say pero se me olvidó, that doesn't make sense because it's like saying I mean to call you, but I forgot. It doesn't make sense. So it could be pienso hablarte al rato. Pienso hablarte al rato. This means it's similar to saying I will call you later, but it's like the intention. Your intention is to call the person. You probably might forget later on or not, but if you say pienso hablarte, it's like my intention is to call you, okay? Al rato means later, al rato. So that's why pensar in this situation means it's similar to mean. I mean to call you. I meant to call you. So just keep that in mind, that pensar is not only about I'm thinking about something. It's also, your intention. I'm thinking about, I mean to do something, and so on. So this is quite interesting for sure. It's a very, very good verb to use for sure. Now, the next example, guys, is, or not example, the other meaning is pensar is similar to intend. Okay, again, we're talking about intentions or your intention. For example, you offended something by mistake because you said something, right? Something, offensive or not. The person maybe misunderstood or not. But if you want to apologize, you can use pensar in this situation. We will see how it's used. Nunca means never. But in this situation, it's something different. Nunca pensé is similar to saying I didn't intend. Sorry. Intend. It was not my intention, or I didn't intend. Ofenderte means offend you. So nunca pensé is similar to I didn't intend to ofenderte, offend you. Okay? And then lo siento means I'm sorry. Okay? Lo siento, I'm sorry. Nunca pensé, I didn't intend. I never, wanted to offend you. Similar to that. That's why I put there similar to intend. Obviously, it's like saying I didn't want to, and it was not my intention. I didn't want to offend you. But pensar can be used in that situation. Once again, we're talking about your intention, what you're intending to do or not. And also when you wanna, I mean to do this or not as well. So that's something interesting when talking about pensar. Pensar, nunca pensé. I never thought I could offend you or something like that. It's similar to that. Pensar, pensé, nunca pensé. If you change it, for example, if you want to say pensé, well, obviously this doesn't work here. It's more like in a negative, not negative, but when you're saying nunca, makes more sense. For example, if you say, let's change it up a little bit, let's do it positive, something positive. You could say, for example, if you're really in love, you can say pienso amarte por siempre. Okay? Pienso amarte por siempre. This means my intention is to love you forever. Once again, we're not translating word by word here because I want you to understand the meaning more than just translating the words, because remember, translating from Spanish into English sometimes doesn't work because they're two different languages. So pensar, when you say pienso amarte por siempre, it's like saying I plan to love you forever. My intention is to love you forever. I want to love you forever. And we're just saying pensar. So that's quite interesting. So pienso. Oops, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. Pienso. We're talking about the intention, your intention. Amarte, to love you or love you. Por siempre means forever. Okay, por siempre, forever. So this is something interesting that you can say to someone if you want to, of course. So it can be used in negative and positive situations. You can say nunca pienso. You can, if you want to do the opposite, you can say nunca. Let me just remove this. Nunca pienso amarte. Well, not por siempre, but that works better. Nunca pienso amarte. This is like saying I will never love you, which is pretty much the opposite. Or my intention is to never love you. Okay, so this is quite interesting because you have a Spanish phrase here that doesn't translate into English word by word. So just remember that pensar is similar to intend, to mean, and the previous meanings that we talked about as well. Very interesting for sure. Okay, let me just change it back to what it was. Okay, excellent. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know. Just ask. Don't be shy. Okay. Brianna, welcome. Me pienso comprar algo. Es igual que pienso en comprar algo. Pienso en comprar algo. You don't need pienso en. I would change it to pienso comprar algo. You don't need en. Me pienso comprar algo. Good. And pienso comprar algo. Good. And both pretty much mean the same thing. I'm thinking about buying something. I'm planning on buying something. Okay, so yes, the only correction there, or the only thing that you don't need, is en. Pienso en. You don't need pienso en. In that situation, pienso comprar algo. We have pienso en. Let me see if I have it here. Pienso en. At the beginning, we have it right here. Pienso en is in this situation works because you're talking about someone. It can be a place, it can be, but it's a simpler idea, a simpler phrase. Pienso en ti. You know, I think of you. Pienso en la casa. I'm thinking of the house. So it's a more like simple way to use to think. If you want to use, you know, me pienso or pienso, like here, you don't need en. Okay? You don't need en. You can say me pienso or just pienso without the me. Okay? Pienso comprar un piano. Okay, great question, Brianna. Now let's move on, guys. Let's move on. We need to pay attention to the structure of the sentences as well, because sometimes you need a preposition, sometimes you don't. It's just like in English. In English, there's like phrasal verbs: get out, get up, get down, and so on. In Spanish, it's a little similar. We have prepositions that work really well with some Spanish verbs. So we need to pay attention to that. When to use en, when to use no en, when you don't need prepositions and when you need prepositions. It's very important. Okay. Hang on. Yeah, we didn't finish this part. Okay. Now, pensar, also similar to obviously it means to think, but you can use it again in a reflexive way and in situations when you consider yourself something, okay? Or when you consider to consider oneself, to think or to consider oneself. It could be, people are sometimes, they feel entitled to something, to do certain things. For example, to be rude, which is pretty bad. No one should be rude. When people are frustrated, sometimes they say things that are not nice, entitlement, something like that, similar to that. Pensar can be used in those situations as well, and in a reflexive way. Usually to complain about somebody. So let's look at some example. I know it's tricky, but let's look at the example. Ella se piensa que puede hablarme así. Ella se piensa que puede hablarme así. This is a complex sentence, and this means, does she think she can talk to me like that? That's essentially what you're saying. It's like saying, who are you to talk to me like that, especially if you don't know the person. You could say, you may say that, but se piensa. Let's look at this detail here. Se piensa. Ella se piensa. If we translate it, it makes no sense. She thinks, or she considers herself somebody that can, talk to me in certain way. Okay? Ella se piensa. Does she think, similar to saying, does she think she, in this situation, well, in English, we need does she think, she. In Spanish, you need que. Ella se piensa. You're already saying, ella se piensa, does she think, she. Que, similar to saying that she can, puede. Remember, we don't need the pronoun here. Que ella puede, you could say it. Ella se piensa que ella puede, but it will be a lot of ella. Well, we will have it twice. We don't need it twice. Que puede, that, she can. Hablarme, talk to me. Hablarme. Remember, me is a noun, pronoun. So it can be attached to verbs. It's a whole thing. I talked about this in previous lessons, so please feel free to watch that. Reflexive verbs and pronouns. Hablarme, talk to me, like that. Like that means así. Así means like that. Okay? Ella se piensa que puede hablarme así. Does she think she can talk to me like that? So remember, this is a more complex way to use the verb pensar, but you use it in a reflexive way, usually to complain about other people. And it's like saying, how dare you, like, who do you think you are, kind of situation. So remember that. Ella se piensa, we can change this to él, right? Él. Oops, sorry. I wanted to do that. Él se piensa que puede hablarme así. And this means, does he think he can talk to me like that? Or ellos, but this changes to se piensan que pueden hablarme así. Ellos se piensan que pueden hablarme así. And this is like, do they think they can talk to me like that? Okay, so obviously you can change that to whatever is necessary. You can use different pronouns and whatnot. So just remember, piensan, pensar, se piensan, can be used, pensar, in a reflexive way. And it's similar to saying, to consider oneself, or similar to saying, how dare you? Similar to that expression, but using the verb pensar. Okay, any questions? Great examples. Okay, yes, thank you for sharing. Okay, now the last meaning, guys, is to think over. When you think, you need to think about something. Once again, to think about something, to think it over, you can use the verb pensar. This is very simple. If you say something like tengo que pensarlo. Oh my God, my underlining is terrible. Tengo que pensarlo. Yo tengo que pensarlo. I have to think it over. I have to think about it. So this is a very simple thing, meaning of this verb pensar. Tengo que pensarlo. I have to think it over. I have to think about it. This is a very common phrase to say, or a common phrase in Spanish. So if you want to just remember the whole phrase, you can do that. And that means, I have to think it over. I have to think about it. So pensar is similar to think over, when you really have to think about something, especially if you have to, decide something important or whatnot. Pensar is the verb you need. Okay. Now, phrases. Yes, I forgot to tell you about this. There's some helpful phrases that you need to learn, and they're really good because if you just want to insert the phrase to say certain thing, you can do that, you know. Obviously, you need to know the conjugation of the verb pensar. We will talk about that in a few seconds. And but it's good to know phrases as well. It's like a shortcut, you know. It's like, oh, I have this phrase. I can just insert that phrase and I can communicate perfectly in Spanish. So it's really good. Now, the first phrase is pensar en. Pensar en, to think about. Just like we were talking about with Brianna, pensar en, remember the preposition en, that is similar to saying to think about or to think of. Pienso en ti. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking about you. Okay? But it's just simple. We're not talking about ideas or planning or anything like that. It's just straightforward. I'm thinking of you. Or I'm thinking about a place. Okay? A person or a place. Now, the next one is pensar que. Pensar que is similar to saying to think that. Okay? Pensar que. Yo, for example, I can say yo pienso que yo pienso que voy a dormir temprano. Okay, I'm thinking that I'm going to sleep early, or I'm thinking I'm going to sleep early. Okay, but this phrase in general means to think that. Pensar que. Okay, remember the prepositions. Now, this one is, well, que is a different word. Is a conjunction, not a preposition, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you will have prepositions, sometimes conjunctions, so it's good to learn the whole thing, the verb and preposition or conjunction. Okay, the next phrase is pensar en sí mismo. This is a very common phrase that uses the verb pensar, and this is similar to saying to think of oneself. You know, especially this is used when you have to take care of yourself. Okay, when you have to think about you, not others. I mean, sometimes it's good to be a little selfish and to think about you and your well-being. You know, that's important. So this phrase is great for that. Pensar en sí mismo. So you could say something like, tengo que pensar en mí mismo. Tengo que pensar en mí mismo. That changed because I'm talking about, for example, yo. You know, yo tengo que pensar en mí mismo. This means I have to think about myself. That's what it means. Yo tengo, I have to, que pensar. Tengo que, similar to I have to. Tengo que pensar. Let me just put it here. I have to think about myself. Okay? So for whatever reason, maybe you need to you know, be safe. You need to do something important for your life. So this is a perfect phrase for that. You have to think about yourself. Yo tengo que pensar en mí mismo. If you identify yourself as a female, then you have to change this to misma. Okay, mismo, misma. that changes, that has a grammatical gender. Yo tengo que pensar en mí misma. I have to think about myself. Okay? If you identify yourself as a female. If you identify yourself as a male, then mismo. Okay? Now, let me just have it the way it was. Pensar en sí mismo. To think of oneself or to think about yourself, you know, specifically. Now, the next phrase is, okay, I'll answer your question in a bit, Brianna, just in a second. Okay. The next phrase is no puede dejar de. No puedo, rather. No puedo dejar de. I can't stop thinking about. No puedo dejar de pensar. Sorry, I forgot the important verb pensar. No puedo dejar de pensar. This is a very interesting phrase that means I can't stop thinking about ... It could be anything. It could be a person. It could be a thing. It could be food. It could be a place. So this is a very good phrase to learn. No puedo. I can't. Dejar de, stop. Pensar. In this situation, thinking about. No puedo dejar de pensar. And you can even add en. No puedo dejar de pensar en. And if you say ti, again, no puedo dejar de pensar en ti. I can't stop thinking about you. Okay, so that's what it means, about you. You can change it to something else. No puedo dejar de pensar en el pastel. Because you had a great cake. So it could be, I can't stop thinking about the cake. Okay, so this is a very good phrase. No puedo dejar de pensar en. Okay, and ... Insert the noun. Insert a noun right there. Okay, and that means I can't stop thinking. I can't stop thinking about. Really good phrase, for sure. The other phrase, guys, another important one using the verb pensar is te has puesto a pensar que. Te has puesto a pensar que. This is not the last phrase, but we have more. We have a few more, I think, like 3 more or so. Te has puesto a pensar que. This is similar to saying, have you thought about, you know, this one right here. Te has puesto a pensar que ... For example, I could say, te has puesto a pensar que me voy mañana. Okay. Have you thought about me, about have you thought about me leaving tomorrow? Okay, so for example, if someone is like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow, and then you're like, you know, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. So especially this is a very not too friendly thing to say something, but it's commonly used. Te has puesto a pensar que. Have you thought about me voy mañana, me leaving tomorrow, or I'm leaving tomorrow? Okay, so this is another great phrase. Just remember that. This means, have you thought about ... Te has puesto a pensar que ... Okay, Brianna, gracias. Otra pregunta. Should I always use a noun after the phrase pensar en and not a verb / infinitive? Yeah, it's very likely that you will need a noun and not a verb when you have pensar en. Yep. And if you want to add a verb, just remove en. Excellent. Okay. Great example. Que yes, tenemos que pensar en nosotros mismos. Great example. Great example. Okay, so let's continue, guys. Let's continue. We have a few more phrases, just 3 more, and then we will talk about the conjugation. We will go a little fast. You know, when talking about the conjugation, we will go through the thing a little fast, but just let me know if you want me to repeat something, or if you want I don't know, if you have any question, just let me know. Okay, phrases. Okay, the other one, guys, is pensar en la I like this one. Pensar en la inmortalidad del cangrejo. This is a saying. Just so you know, this is just a saying, and this means to have, or it's similar to have one's head in the clouds. Okay, when you are clueless, when you're when you're not, you know, you're somewhere else but not in the present, or where you are, you're just thinking, daydreaming or something like that. This phrase is good for that. Pensar en la inmortalidad del cangrejo. This is literally saying to think about the crab's immortality. So this is very funny. I don't know why exactly we say this, but it's a saying. It's like an expression. So I could say something. Just remember, you need to conjugate the verb pensar. Yo estoy. In this situation, we need yo estoy pensando. Okay, this means this is similar to saying like, I don't know, I'm not too familiar with this saying. I have one's head, no, to have one's head in the cloud. So it will be like saying my head. I have my head in the clouds. So that's pretty much what I'm saying here. I am, or I have my head in the clouds. Yo estoy pensando en la inmortalidad del cangrejo. Obviously, you can change the noun. Ella está pensando en la inmortalidad del cangrejo. She has, it's like saying she has her head in the clouds, something like that, similar to that. So it's quite interesting. You're welcome, Brianna. So just remember that pensar en la inmortalidad del cangrejo means to have one's head in the clouds. It's similar to that saying. Okay, the next phrase is pensar de. Pensar de. Let's pay attention to the word de, which is a preposition. Okay, so pensar de is similar to saying to think of. What do you think of me? ¿Qué piensas de mí? Okay, let me just put it here. ¿Qué piensas de mí? ¿Qué piensas de mí? This is similar to saying, what do you think of me? What do you think of me? ¿Qué piensas de mí? What do you think of me? So, piensas de means to think of. Pensar de, to think of. Remember, de the preposition de. Okay. Pensar de, to think of. Okay. Now, the next phrase, we talked about this one. Now let's talk about this one. Gracias por pensar en ... Okay. Thanks for thinking of. This is a very good phrase if you want to express gratitude. It's a very good phrase to do that. Gracias por, thanks for, pensar, thinking, en, of. Okay? In English, remember that in English you have a lot of thinking, you know, the gerund. In Spanish, we have a lot of infinitive forms. So maybe you're thinking why we talked about the gerund, the Spanish gerund in the previous live stream, pensando. Okay, so maybe you're like, why you don't have pensando there, because it doesn't work the same in Spanish. Just remember that. Gracias por pensar en, infinitive, pensar. That means that we pretty much leave the verb as it is. We don't conjugate it. We leave the the ending AR, ER, IR. A whole thing about verbs. Gracias por pensar en ... Thank you for thinking of. So you could add here, gracias por pensar en mí. Okay. Thank you for thinking of me. Okay. Or gracias por pensar en el viaje. En el regalo. Regalo could be regalo. Thanks for thinking of the present. You know, it's not only about people or of people. We're also talking about things. You know, maybe someone gave you a gift and you were not expecting that, so you can say that, gracias por pensar en el regalo. Okay, thanks for thinking of the present. Okay, excellent. This is a great phrase, guys. Just let me change it back to what it was. ... And let's just erase this, and now we're gonna talk about the conjugation. So let me have some tea. We're talking a lot about the verb pensar. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because it's not only an irregular verb, but it's also a verb that has many meanings. Okay. We have quite a few conjugation, like a big conjugation here, meaning we have many tenses, we have many moods. So I hope you're familiar with, the moods, all the Spanish moods and the tenses. If not, I also have lessons about that. Please feel free to browse my channel. Okay. So the first conjugation is the most simple one, the basic conjugation that, it's the basic but important. It's a basic but an important conjugation. And we're talking about, well, first, the infinitive. Very easy. This is not a conjugation. It's just, you need to know the infinitive of, different verbs, which is just the verb as it is. As I said before, pensar, pensar. Pensar is infinitive. And then we have the past participle. Participle. Pensado, pensado. Okay. This is also good to know because we're gonna use it in certain tenses. So just remember that. That's the past participle. participle. Sorry. Now we have the gerund. We talked about gerund, the whole thing about gerund in the previous live stream. And the gerund of pensar is pensado. Pensado. Infinitive, pensar. Past participle, pensado. Gerund, pensado. Pensado. Okay. One sec. Oh boy. That's a lot of information. Okay. No, hang on. I have to double check. Okay. Sorry, I just made I have a mistake here. Pensando. That's why I was like, NDO. Why I'm missing the N? But that was my bad. The gerund is pensando. Pensando. Okay? Pensando. Past participle, pensado. Gerund, pensando. The N. We just added the N there. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, let's continue. Let's talk about indicative mood, which is pretty much the most basic mood. Very simple. Remember, indicative states just pretty much just facts. Nothing difficult there. Just facts. Okay. So remember the nouns, pronouns. We have yo. You should know this by now. Yo means I. Okay, I. Tú means you. Usted, I have it abbreviated, but this is, I'm just gonna let you know, usted. Okay, usted is a formal you in Spanish, singular you. So remember, usted. Then we have él, which means he, ella, she. Okay, nosotros or nosotras. I added the ending here. Nosotros, we. Nosotras, we. Obviously, nosotros masculine, nosotras feminine. Vosotros or vosotras. Okay, vosotros is used in Spain only, and that means you, plural. Okay. Then we have ustedes, ellos, and ellas. So ustedes, this is, I just needed the space, sorry guys, but ustedes, remember, ustedes is you, plural. Okay. And then we have ellos, they, and ellas. They, but feminine. Ellos masculine, ellas feminine. So those are the pronouns that we need to conjugate the verb. Now we have present tense. This is how it's gonna work. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you the tenses and then the conjugation. Just remember the pronouns, okay? Remember what they mean. And then I'm just gonna conjugate the verb, pensar. Okay. Yo pienso. Yo pienso means I think. I think. And I'm having the letter I in green because that's the irregular conjugation, okay? So remember, irregular verbs mean that they have their own conjugation, but not the whole. We're not talking about all the tenses. It could be just at certain, conjugation for certain pronouns. So just keep that in mind. I have it in green, the irregularities. Yo pienso, I think. Tú piensas, you think. Oops, sorry. We have, sorry. Usted usted, él or ella piensa. You think, he thinks, she thinks. Okay? Nosotros or nosotras pensamos. Pensamos. We think. Vosotros pensáis. Vosotros pensáis. This is used in Spain, remember? And that means you think. Vosotros or vosotras pensáis. Pensáis. As you can see, pensamos and pensáis, they're not irregular. Just the first three, you know? So that's good. Now we have ustedes, ellos or ellas piensan. You, they think. So yo pienso, tú piensas, usted, él, ella piensa. I'm actually gonna say just the conjugation without the pronouns, okay? Pienso, piensas, piensa, pensamos, pensáis, piensan. Okay? So that's the present in the indicative mood. Present tense. Now we have perfect or past tense. We have yo pienso. Pensé. My God. Yo pensé. I don't know why it changed to present tense there, but yo pensé. I thought. Tú pensaste. Okay, sorry about that. Tú pensaste. That means you thought. Tú pensaste. Usted, él or ella pensó. My bad, guys. My bad. Pensó. Okay, just let me remove the rest and okay. That is tú, usted, él or ella pensó. You, he, she thought. And then we have nosotros or nosotras pensamos. Okay? We thought. Vosotros or vosotras pensasteis. Okay? Vosotros or vosotras pensasteis. That means we thought. And then we have the last one. Ustedes, ellos or ellas pensaron. Okay? So that's the predicate. Pensé, pensaste, pensó, pensamos, pensasteis, pensaron. Okay? Predicate. Past tense. So that means we thought, I thought, you thought, he, you, he, she thought, and so on. Okay. Now we have, hopefully the next conjugation is fine. Imperfect. Imperfect tense. Pensaba. Okay. Yo pensaba. Yo pensaba. That means I was thinking. Okay. I was thinking. Tú pensabas. You were thinking. Él, usted, él or ella pensaba. You were thinking. He, she were thinking. He was thinking. She was thinking. I thought of él and ella as two people, but it's separate, of course. Okay. Nosotros pensábamos. Nosotros, nosotras pensábamos. We were thinking. Vosotros, vosotras pensabais. You were thinking. Ustedes, ellos or ellas pensaban. You were thinking. They were thinking. Pensaba, pensabas, pensaba, pensábamos, pensabais, pensaban. Okay? the next tense, conditional. Yo pensaría. Remember, conditional is like saying, in this situation is, I would think. I would think. It's conditional. Yo pensaría. I would think. Tú pensarías. You would think. Usted, él or ella pensaría. You will think. You, she, he, she would think. Nosotros or nosotras pensaríamos. Pensaríamos. Lots of accent marks. Pensaríamos. We would think. Vosotros, vosotras pensaríais. You would think. Ustedes, ellos or ellas pensarían. You would think, they would think. Okay, now, future tense. We have yo pensaré. I will think. I will think. Future. Tú pensarás. You will think. Usted, él or ella pensará. You, he, she will think. Nosotros pensaremos. We will think. Vosotros, vosotras pensaréis. You will think. And then usted, ellos, and ellas pensarán. You, they will think. Pensarán. Pensaré, pensarás, pensará, pensaremos, pensaréis, pensarán. That's a lot of pensar in there. I mean, we're conjugating pensar, right? So as we can see, only the present tense is irregular. The rest stays pretty much, or they follow the conjugation rules. So that's good to know. That's good to know. Now, that was the indicative mood. Now we're going to conjugate in a different mood, not the indicative. Hang on one sec. I don't know why this is a bit weird, but let me just show you the pronouns first. Yeah, we know the pronouns. Let me see, present. Oh, yes, still the indicative, sorry, but we have the present perfect. So the indicative mood continues, sorry. Yo he pensado. Yo he pensado. This means I have thought. I have thought. Yo he pensado. Tú has pensado. You have thought. Okay? You have thought. Tú has pensado. Usted, él, and ella ha pensado. You have thought. She has thought. He has thought. And she has thought. Ha pensado. Nosotros, nosotras hemos pensado. We have thought. Vosotros or vosotras habéis pensado. You have thought. Usted, ellos, and ellas han pensado. So you have thought, they have thought. He pensado, has pensado, ha pensado, hemos pensado, habéis pensado, han pensado. Okay, so that was present perfect. Now we have the pluperfect tense. Había pensado. Había pensado. This means I had thought. I had thought, sorry. Había pensado. Habías pensado. Tú habías pensado. You had thought. Usted, él, and ella había pensado. You had thought. He had thought. She had thought. Nosotros, nosotras habíamos pensado. We had thought. Vosotros or vosotras habíais pensado. You had thought. Sorry. Usted, ellos, and ellas habían pensado. You had thought. They had thought. Perfect. The next one, future. Future perfect. Oh boy. Yo habré pensado. Yo habré pensado. I will have thought. Tú habrás pensado. You will have thought. Man, oh man, it gets complicated, huh? Usted, él, or ella, or and ella, habrá pensado. You will have thought. He will have thought. She will have thought. Then we have habremos pensado. Habremos pensado. We will have thought. Will have thought. I mean, I'm saying we will have thought, so you know exactly the meaning. Vosotros and vosotras habréis pensado. You will have thought. And then usted, ellos, and ellas habrán pensado. You will have thought. They will have thought. Okay, so that was the whole indicative mood. Now we will move on to more indicative by the looks of it. Okay, let's have, we have more indicative. The indicative mood is big. The pronouns, and then we have preterite perfect. Preterite perfect. Hube pensado. Yo hube. Sounds kind of funny to say hube, but that means I had thought. We have it in Spanish. What can I tell you? It's similar to this one over here, pluperfect, but it's different. Hube pensado. I know, I had thought. We can talk about certain tenses individually in future lessons. Just let me know. Tú hubiste pensado. Tú hubiste pensado. You had thought. Not taught, but thought. Usted, él, en ella, hubo pensado. You, he, she had thought. Nosotros, nosotras hubimos pensado. We had thought. Vosotros or vosotras hubisteis pensado. You had thought. And usted, ellos, and ellas hubieron pensado. They, you, plural, had thought, and they had thought. So, hube pensado, hubiste pensado, hubo pensado, hubimos pensado, hubisteis pensado, and hubieron pensado. Okay? Excellent. And we have the conditional perfect. Yay! Okay. Yo habría pensado. Do you know what this means? Do you know what this means? This means I would have thought. Tú habrías pensado. You would have thought. Okay. Then we have usted, él, ella, habría pensado. This means you would have thought, he would have thought, she would have thought. nosotros or nosotras, nosotros y nosotras, habríamos pensado. We would have thought. Vosotros or vosotras habríais pensado. We would have thought. You would have thought, sorry. Vosotros is you. Usted, ellos, and ellas habrían pensado. You would have thought. They would have thought. Okay? Habría pensado, habrías pensado, habría pensado, habríamos pensado, habríais pensado, habrían pensado. Wow, this is like a tongue twister for sure. So just remember, guys, that only the irregularities are in green, okay? So this is pretty much the same. It follows all the rules of conjugation. Okay, now we have the next mood subjunctive. Yay! We have all the pronouns. You should know them by now. We have present tense, subjunctive. Yo piense. Yo piense. Okay? Yo piense. This means I think, but it's used in a different way. Tú pienses, you think. For example, it's like saying, no es porque piense que eres una mala actriz. It's like saying it's not because I think you are a bad actor or actress, sorry. So it's used in a different way. It's different from the previous mood. Usted, él, ella piense. Well, obviously you think. Then you, he, she thinks. Nosotros pensemos or nosotras pensemos. We think. Vosotros penséis. You think. And then we have, we have usted, ellos, ellas piensen. You, they think. Okay, so that's present. Piense, pienses, piense, pensemos, penséis, piensen. We see some irregularities there. Now we have the imperfect one tense. We have two imperfect tenses. Yo pensara. Yo pensara. Yo pensara. This means I thought. Tú pensaras. Tú pensaras. You thought. Remember, this is different from the previous mood indicative. Usted, él, ella pensara. This means you, he, she thought. Nosotros or nosotras pensáramos. We thought. Vosotros or vosotras pensarais. This means you thought. Okay. And then we have usted, ellos, and ellas pensaran. You, they thought. Then we have the other tense imperfect too. Yo pensase. Okay. Yo pensase. Pensase is the second imperfect and it means the same. I thought. They're used in different situations, of course. Tú pensases. Okay. They're quite similar though, the two imperfect ones. Tú pensases, you thought, is the same meaning, past, similar to some past tense. Usted, él, ella pensase, you thought, okay? Nosotros, nosotras pensásemos, okay? This imperfect one is more like commonly used more than the imperfect two, just so you know. Nosotros, nosotras pensásemos, we thought. Vosotros, vosotras pensaseis, you thought. Usted, ellos, ellas pensasen, you thought, they thought. Then we have future. Yo pensaré, pensare, sorry, pensare, we don't have any accent mark. Yo pensare, similar to saying I will think, but remember we are using the subjunctive mood, which is used in certain situations. Tú pensares, pensares, you will think, sorry, you will think. Usted, él, ella, pensare, pensare. This means you, he, she will think. Nosotros, nosotras pensaremos, we will think. Vosotros, vosotras pensaréis, you will think. You will think. Usted, ellos, ellas pensaren. So you, they will think. Okay, so that's the subjunctive. You gotta love it, huh? By the way, I have a lesson about the moods, like different moods in Spanish. So yeah. Please watch it. Okay. Now we have more subjunctive, of course. So I wasn't kidding when I said this lesson was going to be long. Okay. The pronouns. We have present perfect. Haya pensado. Okay. Yo haya pensado. Remember that. Yo haya pensado means, you know what that means? I have thought. Tú hayas pensado. You have thought. Usted, él, ella haya pensado. You have, you, he, she has thought. Nosotros, nosotras hayamos pensado. Nosotros, nosotras hayamos pensado. We have thought. Vosotros, vosotras hayáis pensado. You have thought. And then usted, ellos, and ellas hayan pensado. You, they have thought. Okay? Now we have the pluperfect 1. And also I think we have pluperfect 2. Okay. Yo hubiera pensado. Yo hubiera pensado. I have thought. Tú hubieras pensado. You have thought. Usted, él, ella hubieran pensado. You, he, she have thought. Nosotros, nosotras hubiéramos pensado. We have thought. Vosotros, vosotras hubierais pensado. Hubierais pensado. You have thought. And then usted, ellos, ellas hubieran pensado. You, they had thought. Man, oh man. Now the next one. Yo hubiese pensado. Hubiese pensado. That means the same I had thought. Okay. Hubiese pensado. Yo hubiese pensado. Tú hubieses pensado. Okay, the same. You had thought. Usted, él, ella hubiese pensado. You, he, she had thought. Nosotros, nosotras hubiésemos pensado. We had thought. Vosotras, vosotras, vosotros, vosotras hubieseis pensado. You had thought. Hubieseis pensado. Usted, ellos, and ellas hubiesen pensado. You, they had thought. So that was the subjunctive. The next one, guys, imperative. We're almost done. We have just a few moods. I think we have one mood left, one or two. And then, well, we have the imperative. Imperative is really good. You know, this is for commands. If you want to tell someone what to do, you can use this for sure. I'm sorry. It's just like my throat feels a little dry. So I gotta drink some tea for sure. So pronouns, we know the pronouns. When talking about the imperative mood, you don't give commands to yourself. So that's why we have not all the pronouns. We have tú, you, usted. Usted, I'm just gonna put usted. And like that. Usted, nosotros, usted, you, formal. Nosotros, nosotras, we, vosotros, vosotras, you, plural. And then ustedes. I'm just gonna put ustedes. I think we have enough space here. Ustedes. You, plural. Remember, vosotros is used in Spain. Ustedes is used in Latin America. Okay. Here we go. We have the positive ones, the ones that are not negative. We don't use the word no, but we will learn both. Tú piensa. So sometimes you use the pronouns, but sometimes you don't. I mean, most of the times when you give commands in Spanish, you don't say the pronoun. So you say piensa. Okay? So you're saying to the person, think. Okay? Think. Tú piensa. You think. Okay? Usted piense. Okay? So if you want to be formal and you're talking to someone in a formal way but giving a command, then you can say piense. Piense bien. Think well. Okay? Piense. We see some irregularities. We see some green there. Nosotros or nosotras pensemos. So if you're talking to a group of people and you want to include yourself, you know, you can say pensemos. Pensemos bien. Let's think, let's think it over. Let's think this like really well. Okay? Pensemos, chicos, pensemos. So you're saying like, guys, let's think about it. Let's just think, guys. Okay? Let's all think, pretty much. Pensemos. And then we have pensad. This is in Spain. If you're talking to a group of people and you say pensad bien. This means, like, guys, think, okay? You guys think. It's a command. And then ustedes piensen. So this is in Latin America. You, group of people, you're saying piensen chicos. Think guys, think. Okay? So it's a command. That's why it's called imperative. The mood is called imperative. Now we have the negative conjugation. If you're thinking no piensa, that's not a command. If you add no. So if you want to say don't think, you need to say no pienses. Okay, so that's different. Piensa. Piensa means think. No pienses means don't think. Okay, no pienses. Different. They're different. Usted. No piense. Formal way. This is a formal way to say don't think. If you're talking to one person. Okay. No pensemos. No pensemos. So this is like you're in a group and you're including yourself. You want to say we should not think. Let's not think about it, okay? No pensemos. No pensemos. No pensemos. Similar to saying let's not think, okay? I'm including myself. And then we have vosotros, vosotras, no penséis. No penséis. So this is like saying, let's not think. No, sorry. Don't think, but you're talking to a group of people, okay? You don't think, okay? No penséis. Used in Spain. And then no piensen. No piensen. This is the same. Don't think. You're saying that to a group of people. And it's like saying don't think, guys, okay? No piensen, chicos. Don't think, guys, okay? So we have the singular you and the plural you. Don't forget that. And well, it's the same. Obviously, nosotros, nosotras. We have the same imperative commands. So all of this works. And it's very, very curious that the first two right here, piensa, no pienses, they're different. This one is the same. We just added the word no. Same with pensemos. Pensad changes. No, it changes. No penséis. Okay? Pensad, pensad, think. No penséis, don't think. Okay? And then we have piensen, piensen. And then we have the same, no piensen. Okay? Positive and negative. So that is crazy. Now we have the last mood, I believe. Let me see the other. Do we have, what mood do we have here? Oh, continuous. So we have two continuous. Yeah, this is the last mood, guys. And then that is it. We have, yeah, just one more mood, the continuous. So we're going to use the gerund here. So all the pronouns. And I need some tea. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. We can do this, guys. Present tense. Present tense, yo estoy pensando. Gerund, pensando. Yo estoy pensando. This means I am thinking. Okay? Tú estás pensando. You are thinking. Usted, él, ella está pensando. You are thinking. He, she is thinking. Nosotros estamos pensando. We are thinking. Vosotros estáis pensando. You are thinking. Usted, él, and ella están pensando. You are thinking. They are thinking. Chris, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. Gracias por enseñarnos. De nada, Chris. Muchas gracias por la donación. We're almost done. We're almost done. It's a long lesson, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, imperfect. Yo estaba pensando. I was thinking. Estaba pensando. Tú estabas pensando. You were thinking. Usted, él, ella estaba pensando. You, he, she, you were thinking. He, she were thinking. Was thinking. I'm thinking about él and ella as two, but it's just one person. I don't know why. Él, he was thinking. Ella, él estaba pensando. He was thinking. Ella estaba pensando. She was thinking. Okay. Nosotros, nosotras estábamos pensando. We have an accent mark right there, right here. Estábamos pensando. We were thinking. Sorry. Vosotros, vosotras estabais. Estabais pensando. You were thinking. Oh my goodness. Usted, ellos, and ellas estaban pensando. You were thinking. And they were thinking. Okay. We have the perfect past tense. Yo estuve pensando. I was thinking. Okay. Tú estuviste pensando. You were thinking. Okay. Usted, él, ella estuvo pensando. You were thinking. He, she was thinking. Nosotros, nosotras estuvimos pensando. We were thinking. Okay. Vosotros or vosotras estuvisteis. Estuvisteis pensando. You were thinking. Okay. Usted, ellos, ellas estuvieron pensando. You were thinking. They were thinking. Okay. So that was perfect. Perfect. It's a fun thing to say, that word, perfect. Okay. So we don't see any green, no irregularities. So that's good. We're using a lot of, gerund in there. And then we have the last continuous. We have the pronouns. You know them. You know them. I know you know them. Then we have the tense, future. Yo estaré pensando. I will be thinking. Yo estaré pensando. I will be thinking. Tú estarás pensando. You will be thinking. Usted, él, and ella estará pensando. You will be thinking. He, she will be thinking. Nosotros, nosotras estaremos pensando. We will be thinking. Vosotros, vosotras estaréis pensando. You will be thinking. Usted, ellos, ellas estarán pensando. You, they will be thinking. And then that was future. Conditional. This is the last one, guys. We have yo estaría pensando. I would be thinking. I would be thinking. Yo estaría pensando. Tú estarías pensando. You would be thinking. Sorry, brain fart. Usted, él, ella estaría pensando. You, he, she would be thinking. Nosotros, nosotras estaríamos pensando. We would be thinking. Okay. Vosotros, vosotras estaríais pensando. You would be thinking. And then usted, ellos, and ellas estarían pensando. You, they would be thinking. We did it, guys. We did it. If you stayed up until this moment watching and learning Spanish, good job. Good job. Great job, guys. That was all the conjugation of the verb pensar. Man, that was a lot. That was a lot. Remember, pensar is an irregular verb. You saw the irregularities, not too many, but there's some. So you need to learn those. You just need to learn those. And remember, pensar, the main meaning is to think, but it can be used in different situations, and it's similar to some other verbs in English. Okay? I mean, English verbs. That's it. Do you guys have any questions? I hope you like this lesson. Did you like it? Let me know that, and so I can do, I can work on more lessons similar to this one. We can focus on one verb only and then learn everything about it. So, man, you learned so much about this verb. It's crazy. Okay. Sea of Platitudes. Para el imperativo, ¿alguna vez dices piensa en ello? ¿O siempre dices piénsalo para think about it? Piensa en ello. Both are correct. The only thing is that you're just saying it in a different, like in different ways. Both are, you can say both. Piensa en ello. Think about it. Piensa. You're using the command right there. And you're also saying piénsalo. That is also a command. Piensa, you're using piensa. And then you're just adding the pronoun lo. So both are correct. So you can use either one. They're both correct. They're just different ways to say the same thing. Great question. Lindsay, jamás he pensado que las lecciones de idioma podrían ser tan divertidas, pero tú y tus lecciones siempre me inspiran a seguir estudiando cada día. Te agradezco por siempre y para siempre. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you so much for your kind comment. I'm glad that you're having fun learning Spanish. I mean, I'm trying to, to make this whole thing easy. That's why the channel is called Spanish Made Easy, so you guys can learn Spanish in a very easy, simplified way, because I know that it can be challenging to learn this language. I mean, Spanish is not easy, and honestly, just don't give up. Don't give up. Always learn something new about Spanish, and you will master this language in no time. And if this was too much, guys, you can rewatch the stream later on. You can take notes, you can practice your pronunciation. And yeah, just don't stress yourself out, Don't get frustrated. Take it just, little by little, just one thing at a time. Be patient. And like Lindsay is saying, feel inspired by the language. It's not difficult, but it's not easy, but it's not impossible. I mean, it all depends on on you. What do you want to learn from this language? How much time do you want to invest in learning Spanish? It's up to you, but I think the important thing is do something every day. Just even if it's one word, learn that word. Every day try to learn one thing, something new about Spanish. Just one, even if it's one thing. That's how I learned English. I mean, I didn't go to a school specifically to learn English. What I did is I just learned one thing every day, one thing. And also I was trying to, listen to music in English, and also TV shows, the news and all of that. If you want to practice your pronunciation, it's great to listen to other people speaking the language. So that's very good. I'm still learning English, and that's okay. I probably will never master English, but you know what? The important thing is that you learn something new every day. And I know that it can take a long time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It is worth it. Okay. Thank you, Lindsay, once again. Sea of Platitudes. Gracias por la lección. Me encanta. Sí, cada día muy importante. Good. Awesome. Thank you, Sea of Platitudes. I'm glad that you like the lesson and you liked the whole stream. Thank you so much. Lindsay, that's right. I am still far from fluent, but when I first studied Spanish many years ago, I never thought that I would learn as much as I do today. Your Spanish is pretty good, Lindsay. It's pretty good. First started studying. Yeah, it's all great. I mean, I don't know, there's something about learning languages, any language, that is very I don't know, it's satisfying. I find it satisfying because just to be able to communicate in a different language is so impressive. Even if it's something not too complicated to say. For example, if you want to order something in Spanish, just knowing how to do that in Spanish or in any other language other than your native language is amazing. It's amazing. And don't be afraid of, making mistakes. That's the way you learn. Even like I remember when I was learning English, as I said before, I'm still learning English. But when I started learning English, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk randomly. I'm going to sound like a crazy person. But even if I'm alone, if I don't have anybody to, to help me practice English, I'm just going to say things in English, when I'm showering, when I'm cooking, when I'm, I sounded like a crazy person, but it helps. It helps because you're pronouncing, you're practicing everything about the language, how to put phrases together, how to think in English or in Spanish. That's something really important to do. Okay, anyways, guys, I'll let you go because it's already like quite late here. And it was a long lesson, so you need a break for sure. So spoil yourself and just do something that you really like to do. And thank you so much for watching this video, this stream rather. And remember that I live stream every Tuesday around 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you don't want to miss out my streams, just click on that subscribe button and also activate the notifications. So just click on that notification bell icon. I think it's a bell icon. So just click on that and activate or turn on all the notifications so YouTube will let you know every time I live stream. I'm very thirsty and I'm hungry, so I'm going to eat supper. By Wei Wu. Thank you for watching, and all of you guys, thank you, Chris, for the donation. Nos vemos pronto. You're right. Nos vemos pronto. I'll see you next time. Take care. Cuídense. Bye bye. Adiós.